Legendary investor says he would give Bidenomics an F. I agree. I wish it was something lower than an F. I would give Bidenomics that. I don't know anyone in their right mind that would give Biden a great grade for his Bidenomics for the economy. Everyone knows it's doing terrible. Even the pundits are having a hard time telling people why the economy is good, why inflation is not a bad thing, and why spending more at at the at the grocery stores, everyone faults except for Biden's. Why they have a difficult time explaining that. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store. All right, let's talk about this news. Now, this comes from Fox Business. Drunken Miller, but he said, do Quincy family office CEO Stan Drunkenmiller, and what I know I killed that name. Y'all know I be tearing up some names here, but his name is Drunken Miller. I got his name right. Appeared Tuesday on CNBC's Squawk Box to discuss Fed policy. He said, Bidenomics, Drug Miller scoffed. If I was a professor, I'd give it an F. I'm going to play the clip. Let's play the clip, and then we'll come on the back end and talk a little bit about it. Let me hit my headphones here. All right, here we go.
Worrying about your budget is human. Right now, you can save 20% on janitorial and cleaning supplies with Staples Business
I haven't
Advantage.
watched this clip
We have a
yet.
team ready to help you find the labor and cost-cutting solutions for your business. Sign up today.
Let me ask you how this plays into it's another, I think, issue of being, things are going well, and then we totally overspent in terms of fiscally as well in Bidenomics.
Bidenomics, if I was a professor, I'd give them an F. Basically, they misdiagnosed COVID and thought we were going into a depression. The Fed did too. I worried about it too in early days. The Fed eventually pivoted, better late than never. Treasury is still acting like we're in a depression. It's interesting because I've studied the Great Depression, and you had a private sector crippled with debt with basically no new ideas. So interventionist policies were called for and were effective. The private sector could not be more different today.
I disagree with him. I think we are in a depression, and the Feds know it. I do disagree with him on that. We do have the innovation though, and Biden is stifling that innovation with regulations. I keep saying time and time again, Biden is gonna regulate us to death. Literally regulate us to death. Is there anything else here in this clip? Yeah, there's nothing else here in this clip. But the article goes on to say that he said, I've studied the Great Depression, and you have a private sector crippled with debt. We have that now. We have that today with basically no ideas. We have that today. So interventionalist policies were called for and very effective. The private sector could not be more different today than it was during the Great Depression. I think it is similar today than it was during the Great Depression, except for we do have the private sector that's trying to do things, but it's being hamstrung by Biden's regulations. Just look at everything that he's regulating, from energy to everything else, and that's where the problem lies. And plus, the government spending is the other issue. But Drunken Miller cited multiple cutting-edge technologies such as AI and blockchain, and suggested, quote, all government needed to do was get out of the way and let them innovate. I agree with that. I wish they would show that clip. By contrast, he asserted that government is, quote, spent and spent and spent. And my new fear now is that spending and the resulting interest rates on the debt that's being created are going to crowd out some of the innovation that otherwise would have taken place. And I do agree with that. I definitely agree with that. And I wish he would mention Biden's regulations that's hurting. He also argued that so much focus on stocks and avoiding the recession ignores how average Americans are impacting far more by issues like gas prices and inflation. And I 1000% agree with that statement as well. They care more about Wall Street than the average American. That's, you can see by the policies that's happening, what's going on, and how they're acting like, we got the money. Gas is not that bad. Inflation is not that bad. But the average American is suffering. But, quote, the average American cares a lot more about gasoline prices than they do about stock prices. I agree. And they are getting hurt, Drunkenmeyer said, going on to reference a previous interview about how Americans are being priced out of the housing market. I mean, the housing market is ridiculous right now. Like, you do not want to try to buy a home right now. But he said, quote, inflation is 20%, 21% higher than it was in 2019. To me, even politically, that's more consequential than keeping the markets up or, trying to nail the soft landing and not having a recession. Again, even people like him, I have some disagreements with. We are in a recession right now. What else do you call this? But it goes on to say the White House didn't respond. Of course, they wouldn't respond. But it's par for the course for Biden again. Got us in these tragic policies. Got us in all these wars, funding all these wars, sending all our money off to other countries while our country is suffering. But let me know what you think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.